咁大家好，咁啱啱都稍微介紹咗一下我係邊個啦，我叫 Kerry 啦，今年喺 Cambridge 嗰度讀 law 嘅，咁好榮幸今日可以同大家 share 呢個 IGCSE English Language A 嘅 exam workshop。咁我而家 share 個 screen 俾大家睇先。見唔見到我嗰個 screen？或者我刪我自己嗰度先。大家睇唔睇到我個 screen 㗎？即係而家咁樣 full screen 咁樣。等等啊，因為如果係 Connie 嘅話睇，或者你睇下睇唔睇到，因為佢哋未必會 unmute 跟住講嘢。
OK，睇到冇問題。OK，而家睇到。
OK，thank you。係啦，咁首先咁個 run down 會係咁樣啦，我哋個 workshop 即係會有少少 introduction of 乜嘢係 IGCSE English Language A，what is the exam like and why would you choose IGCSE English Language A over the other English courses。咁 later on after the introduction，我哋就會去paper 1同 paper 2嘅 exam workshop。咁其實你有個 option去揀 paper 3嘅，咁但係最主要我哋都係 go through 翻一啲 examination skill，咁所以就係 go through 咗 paper 1嘅 long question 先啦 ，which would be 好多學生可能會 confuse 咗究竟點樣要答得好啲，可以命中多啲高分嘅地方啦，同埋 paper 2嘅 poetry 啦，仲係 imaginative writing 嘅。So let's start with what is the exam like。咁你會見到佢有 paper 1、2或者 an option of paper 3嘅。咁 paper 1咧就係係 compulsory 嘅，佔咗60% of your total mark。咁你係actual exam 啦，有 2 hours 15 minutes， 咁會有兩個 section A and section B。咁 section A 咧，你會有大概2條嘅 short question， 然之後有2條嘅 long answer question。咁 long answer question 咧，包括一條12分同埋一條22分嘅題目嚟嘅。You will be asked to analyse 兩個 task 啦。第一個long question 嘅問題可能會問你 structure or language of 其中一個 task 嘅writer 佢究竟係點樣 structure 啊，佢嘅 language 係點樣啊，你要去知道點樣去分析啦。第二個部分咧。section A 第二個部分嘅 long question 咧，通常係22分。They will ask you to compare two of the non-fiction texts。咁到時我哋就會仔細啲講究竟你點樣去 compare 啦。咁 section B 咧就係 transactional writing。咁你有即係 option 去寫你嘅 purpose 同埋 audience 啦，即係you will be given an option of to write an essay。咁如果你唔係揀 section 即係 paper 3而係揀 paper 2嘅話咧，then you will also have an other exam which would be worth 40% of your total mark。咁呢個就會短時間少少嘅，就 1 hour and 30 minutes。咁兩條題目 section A 同 section B。咁 section A 咧可能係一個 test 啦，亦都可能係一個 poetry。咁但係我哋今日因為paper 1同大家 go through 咗啲 text， 咁所以 paper 2我就揀咗 poetry 同大家去 go through， 等大家明白得多啲variety 嘅 of 嗰啲 task 同 poetry 嘅。section B 咧就會 you have got a choice of 3， 咁你會寫一個 imaginative writing， 而呢啲 imaginative writing 嘅 topic 咧通常可能係relate 翻 section A 佢所俾你嘅 task 或者係 poetry 咁樣嘅。咁 paper 3咧就係當你唔揀 paper 2嘅時候，你先至會做 paper 3。paper 3其實係一個 coursework 嚟嘅，咁你會有2個 assignment 啦，都係 involve essay 啊 writing 咁樣，但係多咗時間做啦，同埋係一個 coursework 就唔需要話有時間限制咁樣嘅。咁點解要揀 IGCSE English 咧？咁其實Pearson Edexcel 喺全世界大概97個國家咧係一個認可嘅 qualification 嚟嘅。So if you do IGCSE English Language A，there is no separation between 你係 first language 嘅 GCSE 啊定係 second language 嘅 GCSE。You will automatically be qualified as 一個 internationally 同埋 globally recognized 嘅一個 qualification. So I think IGCSE English Language A is definitely a useful one. 咁而家我哋都轉咗即係 IGCSE 會係1到9分咁樣啦。咁9基本上係最 outstanding 嘅分數。咁呢個this is also a demonstration of 你嘅即係 academic achievement 咁樣嘅。咁that's why a lot of people would be choosing IGCSE English Language A now, although it only started in 2018. OK， 咁我哋時間關係啦，咁所以簡單地介紹咗之後咧，咁我就同大家 go through paper 1嘅 question 啦。咁但係就會需要大家睇一睇兩個文章先嘅。咁我俾大概幾分鐘大家睇，或者你哋都可以 cap screen 咁樣。咁之後我解釋嘅時候，可能你哋會揾到得返我係講緊邊度咁樣。咁I just give 2 minutes to quickly skim through this one, and then 2 minutes to quickly skim through next one. 同埋咧，陣間會有個 Q&A session 嘅。如果你哋有啲咩問題都可以打去個 chat room 嗰度。咁我而家未必睇到，但係陣間 Q&A session 嗰陣我就會睇到㗎啦。OK， 咁我而家轉去下一個 test 嗰度。睇唔晒都唔緊要嘅，咁你記住 cap 翻個 screen 嗰度咧，咁我就會解釋翻 exam skill in relevance to these two texts, which you can refer back later. Okay, let's move to the question. 咁 firstly 正常咧，12分嘅題目咧，佢會係how does the writer use language and structure to interest and engage the reader? So the purpose, the main point 係 language 同埋佢嘅 structure。咁咩叫 language 咧？Which you can see here. 當你睇到一篇文章咧，呢一啲字眼咧，我建議大家最好都係記翻低嘅。cause 呢一啲嘅字眼咧，你喺answer exam question 嘅時候用到咧，咁個 examiner 睇到先至明白，哦，原來你係明咩叫做 use of language 啦。咁你呢啲係要背嘅字眼嚟嘅。咁 firstly，你會睇好多唔同嘅嘢。第一就係 language 嚟嘅 use of pronouns 啦。究竟個 writer 係用we 啊，定係用 I 咧？好多時 when the use of pronouns when they use we at the start， 咁佢哋可能會係 show togetherness。They're showing a group of people. They're not individuals. 但係如果當佢有好 strong 嘅 emotional 想要 express 嘅時候咧，佢通常會用 I 嘅。I 咧通常係用嚟 show the writer's personal feelings 或者 involvement。咁你會見到啦，條問題係問呢一個 task 2啦 ，from H is for the hawk 啦。你會見到 I 佢用 I 嘅時候，好多時咧係 show 佢自己嘅 personal feeling 啦，同埋 info 同每一個唔同嘅 hawk 究竟係有啲咩 interaction， 究竟佢對佢哋有啲咩感覺，咁呢啲就係佢嘅 use of language 啦。所以你平時寫英文嘅時候，你會見到我 pronounce 咧，我要講我自己咪用 I 咯，要講 一 group of people 咪用 we 咯。咁如果當或者 when the writer use they 嘅時候，咁即係話佢 he doesn't feel belong to the other group. That's why 佢會用他人嘅呢個稱呼 they 同埋 us 咁呢個分別。咁呢一啲你都要寫出嚟嘅。And that is an example of what is the user pronoun language by the writer. 咁第二個咩叫 use of onomatopoeia 咧？咁其實就係when we can go back to the text, if you can look at the word which says from. 咁 at that point, from 係 used to create a sense of immediacy. Okay? 即係佢呢一啲字眼咧，通常係有一啲 anticipation 啊，佢有一個 expectation。咁佢會用呢一個 method 咧去表達喺佢自己嗰個文章裏邊，佢一啲字眼咧係會 demonstrate 咗呢個 use of呢個 use of skill 嘅。For example, if you can see 嗱，咁呢度sorry，咁大家見到個箭嘴圈住嗰度啦 ，and other from，咁佢有 italic 嘅即係歪咗嘅字咧，去表達佢自己嗰個情緒啦。To create a sense of immediacy 啊，即係我好心急啦。And then later on you will see whirring, chaotic clatter of wings to give a sense of the noise and fancy。即係呢一個咧，即係佢用一啲同啲 sound associate with the sound and the environment in order to let you know what is the language and the immediacy and the emotion of the task。好啦，咁第三個就係 alliteration。alliteration 通常係講 when the first letter 或者 when the sound sounds the same， 係啦。如果佢係咁repeat the first letter 咧，或者佢句子前句子尾 repeat the first letter 啦。或者你講緊一啲環境啊、聲音啊，同佢嗰個字又似嘅時候咧，咁就係用 alliteration 嘅意思。例如有啲咩字係同個動作，但係個聲音又似，例如 slow。OK，slow，咁你會覺得係好慢咁樣嘅。咁呢啲就係 the use of alliteration。咁for example， 如果佢喺個 task 裏邊用 slow 呢個字嘅，咁其實你可以即係咁少一個單詞，咁 in your answer 你可以講alliteration use of slow the word can emphasize how time is stretched out during the wait， 因為佢上邊有講到佢喺度等緊人，係啦，咁所以佢用 slow 呢個字，你可能就可以講話佢覺得呢個等待係非常之漫長嘅，所以佢用 slow 呢個字。It is a skill of the use of alliteration 咁樣啦。咁另外你會睇到佢成篇文章，你亦都要留意佢有啲咩repetition 啦。咁例如佢有冇一啲repetition of 佢成日形容嗰樣嘢好大啊，或者好細啊，或者成日形容嗰度啲人好開心啊 emotion 啊。咁 repetition of information 或者係一啲字眼。is the use of the language by the writer。 佢好想 emphasize， 令到你知道佢想表達啲咩，佢先至要用 repetition 啫嘛。即係如果平時你可以 in terms of 容易啲去記得，就係你平時同人哋講嘢嘅時候，你都會希望人哋會記得，所以你會重複同一樣嘢，或者重複同一個字眼，去令到人哋嗰個印象更加深刻。咁 in your answer then you can use repetition to usually the way you say it is the use of repetition of a specific word or specific emotion or sentence, and you say how it adds the impact of something it describes. In this task, the writer keep using words like enormous, huge, big， 咁呢一啲去形容一隻平時我哋好難見到嘅鳥 ，because hawk is the bird, right? So 咁你就可以講話because the repetition of enormous, the use of the word enormous will add the impact to the size of the bird， 係啦。 咁 metaphor 相信大家會比較熟悉嘅。咁 metaphor 通常都係講即係一啲比喻啦。咁好多嘅比喻 in English 比喻其實係 is very simple to spot out. For example, the use of like something， 即係佢似啲乜嘢啦，或者 refer to sunlight 或者 refer to 一啲自然嘅現象嘅時候，咁你會一下就會睇得出佢其實係用緊 metaphor 啦。咁喺我哋啱啱嘅嗰個 task 裏邊咧，其實佢係用咗sunlight 去形容created interest， 即係咁 sunlight 嗰個呢一個 metaphor， 你一諗到陽光喎係好 positive 嘅，係好舒服嘅，係好溫暖嘅。咁所以當 when the writer 係用一啲好 positive 嘅 image， 咁你就可以講話metaphor of some use of sunlight created interest with the suggestion of positivity 咁樣咯。咁如果佢用啲好 dark 嘅 image 嘅，即係可能係 dark sea 啊，I could not hear the sound of something 啊，咁呢一啲就係好明顯係一啲比較 pessimistic， 冇咁樂觀啦，比較悲觀啦，冇咁 positive 啦，more like negativity 嘅metaphor 同埋 description 咁樣咯。咁呢啲大家都可以注意下嘅。好啦，咁 in terms of一啲 paragraphs 啦，咁我哋 paragraphs 啦，我哋去翻呢度睇，你會見得清楚啲嘅。你會見到佢一開頭嘅 paragraph 咧係短啲，後邊咧就會越嚟越長，越嚟越長。So a long paragraph is an indication of a longer description， 即係個 writer 覺得我想你知得多啲 detail 呢啲嘢，所以我先至會將個 paragraph 拉長咗。Whereas like if it's a short paragraph, it's an indication of not a very important 或者係 opening， 或者係 give you a glimpse of a scene， 係一個好快嘅 snapshot 咁樣。Whereas a long paragraph 咧 ，the use of long paragraph 就係 include more detail， 佢希望你知道更加多佢所見到嘅嘢。通常用一啲 long paragraph， 而呢一啲去形容佢嘅 experience 咧 ，long paragraph 係代表佢想注意你感受到佢當時嗰一下見到嘅嘢嘅細節，究竟當時嘅emotion 係點啦？佢見到嗰隻雀嘅 detail 啦，周圍嘅 surrounding environment 啦。咁 this would be the use of paragraph。咁呢個就係我哋講嘅 structure 啦。咁即係啱啱講嘅 language。咁呢個就係 structure 嘅其中一個 example 啦。好啦，咁一啲感嘆嘅形式啦，例如佢講咗一句 oh， 然之後一個感嘆號，或者係一啲好 exaggeration 嘅字眼去表達佢自己嘅心情嘅，咁嗰啲我哋會叫做 exclamatory 嘅 language use。咁你會見到 oh， 即係佢係如果佢有一個 oh 咁樣咧，咁即係佢係好 surprise 啦。嗱，你會見到即係我而家箭嘴整住嗰度。咁你會見到，如果佢無論佢係用 full stop 定係感嘆號都好啦，咁呢個 O 都係代表佢嘅一個感嘆嚟嘅。你會前邊嘅內容同後邊嘅內容，你會睇啦，因為佢係見到is always about the description of the bird, and his O is like, oh, I'm shocked by the scene, so I want to stop a bit, and I just write down O to let the reader to understand 嗰一下。我係 pause 咗咁樣嘅，咁所以呢個 O 咧，咁如果你寫 answer in your examination, how do you describe it? Usually 你會講the use of the word O is powerful. Why is it powerful? Because its ability to suggest a number of different emotions. The writer could not describe how complicated his emotion is, he just write O。 咁係啦，咁然之後又會有一啲 description 啦，咁 description you will see that in the paragraph， 咁佢有 describe not only his own emotion, he observed the bird and he tried to describe 嗰個 bird 嘅 emotion 係點樣嘅。咁你會見到即係佢，因為佢有唔同嘅雀喺度啦，佢見到，咁你會見到佢 describe 咁第二隻雀嘅時候咧，你會見到嗰隻雀可能會好驚啊，究竟係發生咩事啊咁樣。咁佢亦都用咗少少metaphor 嘅 ，like a Victorian melodrama。OK，即係好 extreme 啦，即係覺得佢好容易好驚青啊，好 dramatic 啊。咁呢啲就係所謂嘅 description 啦。咁 description 基本上 almost in every task 你都可以用到嘅，即係其實我哋啱啱講嘅嘢啦，幾乎每一篇文章都會有佢嘅 paragraph 喺度啦，佢嘅 metaphor、佢嘅 alliteration 同埋 pronouns 同埋 description。咁 at least 你喺 exam 裏邊你可以寫五樣嘢出嚟，in order to spot the examiner's attention as to how you understand the test and what language the test has used。係啦，咁然之後佢亦有一啲文章可能都會有一啲 comparatives 啊，whereas 啊，on the other hand 啊，as to、compare to，咁comparatives 咧通常都係一啲形容詞，like younger、older、smaller。OK，咁通常當個 writer 一要用呢啲形容詞，其實佢想 highlight differences，right？如果你用一啲比較嘅詞語，咁你一定係想 highlight 一啲 differences。So almost identical, you can always say when you see 呢啲 comparatives, you would just say, oh, the writer want to highlight some key differences between A and B， 或者佢呢一個係想 intensify A and B， 或者 intensify 一啲 impression， 咁佢先會用comparative 嘅，which is something that you can almost always fit in your answer。係啦，咁啱啱都有稍微咁提過 italic 同埋 bold 啦。咁 italic 同 bold 即係令到啲字體係斜啦，或者係粗咗啦。咁呢啲就係通常有兩種原因嘅。第一就係佢想 emphasize 佢所見到嘅嘢，writer 想 emphasize 佢所見到嘅嘢。第二咧就係佢想 emphasize 佢 emotion。OK。咁呢兩即係呢啲，你唔好以為即係睇一篇文章裏邊，你見到一啲 bold 同埋 italic，咁你可以佢 ignore 咗佢，其實都係 is a source， 係你可以寫喺你嘅 answer 裏邊，你所注意到嘅呢個地方。原來個 writer 咁樣用咧，用個 language 同埋個 structure 咧，其實係想 emphasize 一啲嘢。總之有任何唔同嘅嘢，你都可以講話佢想 emphasize is either emotion or the thing that the writer see。 係啦，咁通常如果writer 用一啲 rhetorical questions 啊，即係問翻自己轉頭啊，其實 is a sense of 唔係佢想自己答自己問題啦，其實佢係想bring the attention of the reader into 佢自己一個好 strong 嘅 emotion。通常如果 if you don't feel so strong about something， 你唔會問 rhetorical question， 或者something that you already know the answer, which you already spelled it out 喺你嗰個文章裏邊，所以你先會問一個 rhetorical question。唔通唔係咁樣咩？即係你會，即係我咁樣講，你就會 feel 到我係 I feel so strong about something， 我先至會問一個 rhetorical question 嘅。係啦，咁 reference 咧好多時 reference 其實係睇翻佢會 refer to is it referring to 以前發生過嘅事啦，或者可能佢係 refer 緊某一啲人啦。咁呢一啲 reference 佢會講即係究竟係咪 refer 緊或者 refer 緊 writer 自己。for example， 如果佢覺得個 bird 係好慘嘅 ，is it referring or associating herself to the bird？ 即係佢覺得自己都係一個好 tragic 嘅person 啦，或者經歷過一啲好 tragic 嘅嘢啊，或者佢 referring 緊自己嘅 personality 同個雀好似啊咁樣。咁呢啲 reference 你都可以叫做put it into your answer 嘅。咁另外一個特別啲要注意嘅地方咧，就係 last sentence， 因為好多時 writer 最後一句嘅説話咧係最想表達佢自己嘅 emotion。佢有陣時可能係如果我最後一 句説話 last sentence is live in the question， 咁你可以話the writer trying to put the reader in question 或者 in thinking of 佢自己成篇文章前邊講過嘅嘢，或者 the last sentence 佢會講一啲嘢令到大家 wonder。究竟我之前講嘅嘢啱唔啱咧？我未來應該要點樣做咧？係咪想你 create 一個 reflection？你要反省下自己啊咁樣。咁 so last sentence is something that you should always pay attention to and be one of the content 或者 point to write down in your answer。咁呢一個就係大概講12分 language and structure 嘅。你可能會 include 到嘅嘢啦，咁你可能會諗，哇，咁我咁多，我就係12分，我時間就係得咁多，咁我究竟要寫幾多我先可以 achieve 到嗰個 high mark 咧？咁 to be honest，雖然呢度可能有好多個 technique， 但係你每一個 technique 你可以唔需要寫到咁長嘅，咁 so 你 spot 得到越多唔同嘅 technique 咧，咁其實你嗰個分數就會越高。反而 let's say 如果我係use of pronoun， 但係你 use of pronoun 你係講咗成半篇文嘅， then it wouldn't be useful。即係 use of pronoun 係一個好簡單嘅一個 technique。咁the examiner will appreciate that you notice writer 嘅 use of pronoun 係用咗喺啲咩 effect 上邊，但係你唔可以一路咁樣重複。So I would recommend at least 你係用6到7種咁樣咯。But it really depends on 佢嘅 content 啦。但係即係我而家 list 出嚟嘅呢一啲technique 咧，基本上每一個 test 裏邊咧都會 include 到咁你睇得越多，同埋你根據我啱啱講嘅問題去思考嘅話咧，你係應該會 spot 到究竟佢嘅 language and structure 係點樣，同埋要用翻呢一啲字眼去答。咁個 examiner 就會見到呢個 candidate。用咗呢個字眼答，佢 recognize 呢一個 skill of language used in the task 或者 structure used in the task 咁樣咯。OK， 咁第二個長嘅問題咧係22分啦 ，long question。咁 this is based on task 1同 task 2咁樣。呢個咧一般都係講 compare 嘅。係啦，咁 compare 佢哋 ideas 啦、perspective 啦、experience 啦，咁有一啲地方咧，大家可以諗嘅。Whenever you talk about similarities 嘅時候，你會講 both texts 係點樣。可能 both texts 你會見到啱啱如果你有印象 test 1同 test 2both texts talk about birds， 咁呢個都係其中一個內容上啦，同埋 skill 上啦。佢哋 ideas 啊、feeling、experience 啊 ，whenever 但係你點樣要？因為如果個問題係講 compare， 咁你一定要有 contrast。You cannot just talk about similarities。你唔可以成篇 essay 就係講佢哋兩個都有講乜，佢哋兩個都有講 A、B、C、D、E。你一定要有個 contrast 喺度嘅。咁但係 contrast 咧有一啲字眼你一定要用出嚟，先至會俾個 examiner 好明顯地睇到呢個 candidate 係actually making contrast with the two different tests。咁呢個字眼好重要就係 whereas。So 你會most of time 咧就係你會喺 test A 你講 test A 咧嘅 writer 咧可能係write in direct speech 嘅，即係佢講嘅嘢咧係好似 directly talking to you 咁樣嘅。Whereas test 2 is more descriptive。係一個 more narrative voice 嘅，係以一個旁白咁樣去形容佢所見到同埋發生嘅事。雖然兩個都係用 first person， 但係兩個嘅 first person 係用喺唔同嘅方式裏邊嘅。咁呢啲就係所謂嘅 contrast。咁正常咧，你睇到嘅 contrast 越多咧，your mark will be higher. So similarities, of course, it play a role, but you can't be all similarities. The more contrast you can spot, 咁就會越 demonstrate 到你係見到兩個 task 佢哋用嘅 skill 係唔一樣。咁 examiner again 係好中意呢一樣嘢嘅。咁通常係邊啲位咧係最可以揾到 contrast 嘅咧？兩篇文章咧正常佢一定係 emotion 方面咧。係會有 contrast 嘅，一個可能會佢一定係會咧，一個可能會係 calm 啲啦， 冇咁 excited 啦，冷靜啲啦。如果一個係冷靜啲，咁另外一個一定係會更加 hyper 啲嘅佢嘅 emotion。咁 let's say 嗱，咁我哋睇翻一個 opening。Just like 15 seconds to remind you what's happening. Just read the opening paragraph is fine. 係啦，咁我哋再睇第二個 opening， 即係第一個 paragraph 嗰度。咁 already 你會見到兩個個 mood 係唔一樣噶啦。第一個咧，你會見到佢個 opening 咧係喺個 harbour 嗰度嘅。第二個 opening 咧，你係見到咧佢係打開咗個箱，跟住佢要見到一隻雀咁樣嘅。So like already you can talk about text one opens with a description of the harbour。咁係有咩唔同咧？如果正常，如果佢個 opening 係講一個地點，由一個地點嘅 description 開始嘅話咧，咁其實佢係想 set the scene，佢想你有一個畫面喺度先。Whereas 如果係 task two，佢 start 咗喺佢講緊係一個media with two people about to open the box containing the bird。咁 already 你會覺得佢呢一個其實係想 catch your attention in 係一個我係一隻雀韞咗喺個箱裏邊，跟住終於俾人開咗。咁嗰個 mood 咧係比較 oppressive 啲嘅。Whereas 你喺個 harbour 嗰度咧係set 咗個 scene 啦，係比較 opening 啲嘅。佢見到佢 spot 到the wild bird 咁樣嘅。Whereas this one is a trap bird. Already you can see the difference in the opening。咁呢啲就係一啲 comparison that you can make in your paragraph. So opening 啦，佢哋嘅通常係睇佢嘅 opening 啦，佢哋嘅 conclusion sentence 啦。Because we have both texts talking about birds right now。咁你可以講佢嘅 description of the bird 係點咧？咁你會見到兩篇文章嘅 description of the bird is like so aggressive because they feel being threatened。Even though the scene is different at both texts， 但係佢哋都係即係非常之 aggressive 啦，因為覺得 threatened by the human beings around。係啦，咁你會見到 both 即係 similarities， 可能 both 都會 include 一個 battle between the bird and the people，because the bird is being aggressive to the people，and the human actually want to catch them。係啦。咁 contrast 啦，咁 contrast 你可能話 test one 咧，personality 啦 ，personality 即係究竟，因為如果兩篇文章佢個 writer 都係講緊自己 experience 嘅話，咁佢一定會有啲時候係 describe 佢嘅 emotion 或者佢需唔需要 make 一啲 decision 嘅。你會見到喺 task one 嗰度咧 ，the writer 咧係因為個 situation，he has to make all the decision himself。So he's more independent. Whereas, remember use the word whereas in task two, the writer needs support and help of another person. 即係佢冇辦法好 independently 去做一啲事情嘅。咁呢一啲 kind of personality 啊 ，making decision 啊，佢哋做嘅嘢，咁佢未必喺佢嘅文章裏邊寫出嚟噶嘛。But then when you read the whole story， 你明白咗佢兩篇文章講咩嘅時候，你會 spot 到兩個 writer 嘅 personality difference， 佢哋嘅 emotion difference。究竟佢哋嘅 tone 係究竟係點樣啦？佢哋係用啲咩類型嘅metaphor 啊，或者係 skill 啊，但係最主要係講佢哋之間嘅 ideas 啦，佢哋嘅 presentation 啦，係有啲乜嘢唔一樣嘅。咁你會見到即係兩個雖然係講 bird 啦 ，but then both of them have a very strong feeling。咁一個咧 associate more about，for example task one 咧係講多啲可能關於 environment 或者 focus on pollution 嘅嘢嘅，佢係 feel 你可以睇到佢嘅 personality 咧 ，he's more like an environmentalist，即係佢會覺得係人類嘅呢一啲事情，跟住影響到佢哋嘅。For example, I looked again at this penguin's companion. Was I wrong? Were they alive after all? Perhaps just resting, recovering. 咁你會見到即係呢一啲佢會 have a very strong personal feelings with the birds, so penguins. However, task 2咧，你會見到個 writer 咧好多時候就係 focus on 佢自己嘅諗法。She doesn't really think about the environment and what have the human done to affect the birds. She's more focused on what she thinks of the bird. 係啦，咁呢啲就係一啲 contrast 啦。咁點樣睇到呢個 contrast 咧？就係你會見到佢嘅 opinion 啦。例如我啱啱讀出嚟俾大家聽嘅嗰兩句，佢會諗究竟佢哋有冇事啊？究竟周圍嘅嘢係咪影響到佢哋啊？但係你會見到喺 task 2裏邊咧，佢就係諗呢個雀其實係點樣嘅。咁你就會見到佢 more 係 associate 佢自己嘅 personal thought，而唔係 the thought of more macro in terms of 佢會諗其他嘢點樣去影響呢個環境咯。OK， 係啦，咁呢一個就係我哋所謂嘅long question example 啦。咁there's two things I would like to emphasize 嘅。咁你會見到咧上邊我有一個 mark scheme 啦，咁examiner 係會睇住呢個 mark scheme 啦去 mark 你嘅 essay 嘅。咁正常嘅 skill 咧係分成 AO1、AO2 同 AO3 嘅。咁12分嘅 long question 係 require more on AO2 嘅 skill。咁 AO1 咧通常就係好簡單，即係 short answer question。你知道發生咩事，要 understand what's going on， 即係你有個 knowledge， 你唔需要去分析嘅。There's no analysis inside, but AO2 will require a certain extent of analysis。Okay， 咁所以 AO2 就係話你究竟明唔明白 the use of language 同埋 structure in terms of 你點樣去分析佢哋啊？即係咁點樣分析？我哋啱啱就已經講過啦。你明唔明白佢成個 content 啊 ？Whereas AO1 係 short question 嘅時候咧，佢好多時嘅問題可能就係問你你有冇揾到一隻字係代表A 咁樣嘅意思啊？咁其實你明白成篇文章，你有呢個 knowledge，你 understand the content， 咁你就會答到 short answer question 嘅問題㗎啦。咁 as AO3 咧就 require deep 即係 another deeper step of skill。你需要除咗你要明白你有 analysis 之外啦，呢個 analysis 係 come with comparison 嘅。That's why AO3 佢會講 explore links and connection。That's why 你唔可以喺long answer question 咧，你可以 quote 翻有啲 quotation， 但係你啲 quotation 可能係單字或者係好 short sentence。You can't just copy the whole paragraph out in your answer， 跟住就話佢哋講緊嘅嘢係唔一樣。This would not be comparing the task。咁你見到 level 1啦，the response does not compare the task。咁所以this is exactly why 點解我話 comparison 嘅嗰啲字眼係好緊要，因為你用咗嗰啲字眼，你係 demonstrating to the examiner， 你係 compare 緊。咁所以你一定係要用 both 同埋 whereas 呢兩隻字去 demonstrate， 我係 compare 緊呢兩個 task 究竟有啲咩唔同，即係你避免去講task A 咧就係講 A B C D E 跟住 full stop，task B 係講A B C D E full stop 咁樣佢即係個 reader 一睇個 examiner 一睇咧，佢會覺得你係 describe 緊個 content 啫，你其實唔係 make 緊個 comparison 嘅喎。但係可能一樣嘅內容，但係你用咗 whereas 嘅話咧，咁佢先至會覺得你係 compare 緊兩個 task 唔同嘅 ideas 同埋 perspective 咁樣咯。So that would be the paper 1 exam skill for long question. So in paper 2, I've chosen a poetry, which you can have a look first. OK，咁 whenever in paper 2嘅第一個 question 咧，佢都會問你呢度即係問題係呢度嘅呢一條問題嘅。In your answer，咁其實佢話 How does the writer try to present strong emotion 啊？咁正常咧佢都會俾翻一啲relevant point for you to think about。咁 in your answer you should write about how the narrator of the poem feels about herself, how the narrator of the poem feels about others, and the use of language and structure again. Okay, so have a look of the highlight。咁我哋第一條問題就係答咗可能 how the narrator of the poem feels about herself。咁因為啱啱係兩篇文章太長啦，咁我冇辦法即係 highlight 佢。But this is a poem which would be easier, so I can highlight the main point for you。咁係咩字眼咧？你會睇到 how the narrator of the poem feel about herself。咁你其實好容易，你會見到 my 啊、I 啊，或者係 we us 呢一啲字眼咧，其實就係講緊佢自己嘅 feeling 嘅。咁你 spot 到呢啲字眼，佢後邊用啲乜嘢形容詞嘅話咧，好多時就已經係 a demonstration of her feeling。But how do you put it into an answer? For example，例如呢一句啦 ，Did you want to see me broken？咁呢個句子其實好 strong 嘅。Did you want to see me broken? Basically, is asking you, do you want me to be destroyed? So it's like a very strong sense of oppression，即係佢覺得佢自己係一路都係俾人恰嘅。你係咪想見到我跌低唔識得企返起身啦，咁樣就呢一種 emotion 嚟嘅。So you can see she's been oppressing herself for the very long time。或者 you can talk about how the narrator feels not only oppression or the people around her want to ruin her 或者 damage her。That's how she feel about herself。咁你見到一句子，但係呢一啲 strong language 其實你係可以諗多一層，點解佢要用呢一句咧？ And then other things like 例如呢啲啦，sexiness 啦 haughtiness 啦 sexiness 啦，呢啲 language 咧，其實就係你會見到係佢好 confident 嘅。Okay，呢個the narrator feels very confident in herself。This is her personality，因為佢係 describe 緊佢自己嘛。佢係覺得自己我係好 haughty，我係好 sexy 嘅。咁係咪我咁樣嘅性格令到你唔開心啊？咁又點啊？咁樣係啦。咁 you can say in your answer the narrator shows a confidence in herself。咁呢一啲形容詞 which should be something that you would be able to spot and should spot when you see a poem or even a test。Okay，咁 other things like because I walk like I've got oil wells, because I laugh like I've got gold mines, that I dance like I've got diamonds。咁你會見到佢用一啲好日常好 simple 嘅嘢，like walking、laughing、dancing，去 associate with 一啲我哋聽起嚟覺得好珍貴、好 luxurious 嘅嘢，例如oil well、gold mine、diamonds，即係佢覺 this would be a demonstration of 個 narrator 覺得 her power is shown in the way that she does the simple things in life。That's why she associates her simple thing like walking, laughing in her daily life to gold mine and diamonds。因為 gold mine, diamond, oil wells is what is 即係大家所認為嘅 perceive as something 一啲好 powerful 啦、好有錢嘅人啦、好有社會地位人啦，先至會擁有呢啲嘢，即係金礦啊、鑽石啊、油井啊咁樣。但係佢用自己平時行路啊、笑啊、跳舞嚟 associate with 啲咁 powerful 嘅嘢咧，即係佢覺得自己本身係好 powerful 嘅。So this 即係呢一啲佢嘅 movement 啦，同佢用嘅 metaphor 都係 a hint what you can link into showing how the narrator feels about herself。大家唔好以為即係淨係我揀嘅呢條問題，佢可能先話佢問你 how does the narrator feel about herself, about others 同埋 language。It would be the question for session 即係 paper 2 session A 嘅 question 1咁樣嘅，因為佢只不過我揀咗一個 poem，咁其實其他 question 都係 require 你用呢一個 skill。咁呢一啲 highlight 其實就係俾一個 as 一個 example 俾大家，原來我見到呢啲字，我係可以咁樣分析佢嘅即係嗰個 narrator 嘅emotion 咁樣嘅。係啦，咁 other things like你見到我 highlight 咗最下低嗰度 I'm a black ocean leaping and wide, welling and swirling I bear in the tide。咁你會見到啦，即係佢覺得自己係一個 representative of African American。Yeah， 咁呢一個咧係真係需要大家平時即係會唔會睇新聞啊，或者有冇呢方睇一啲 reading 啊 ，in order to understand 原來佢呢個 description 係指係講緊佢自己嘅 nation 嘅，佢自己嘅nationality 嘅。And she's not ashamed of it. She's very proud that she's African American。係啦，咁你可以見到啦，後邊啦。Bringing the gifts that my ancestor gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave。咁你見到去到呢一度咧，佢會覺得佢自己係有一個好重大嘅責任嘅。She feels a great sense of strong responsibility on her shoulder, or she feels very like representative of her own race。咁呢個即係佢會you can use the word like figurehead， 即係佢覺得佢好代表住佢自己嘅 race to衝破人哋對佢呢一個 nationality 嘅種族歧視啊 racism 啊咁樣嘅。係啦，咁前邊啱啱冇講到啦 ，but still like dust I rise。咁呢一度咧可能就係你會見到佢係好堅強啦。You may throw me in the very dirt, but still like dust I will rise. She described herself as dust, but at the same time，佢係覺得無論你點樣 ruin 我都好啦 ，I will always stand up against you. You will never defeat me. So you can see that the narrator has a very strong personality, and she's very confident, and she's not afraid of how people being racist to her, and she even see herself as a representative to bring her race and nationality 去out of the racism 咁樣咯。咁係啦，啱啱提過大家啦。Whenever 你見到 I 啊、my 啊呢啲字眼咧，都一定係講緊 narrator 自己嘅。So the first part of the answer, how the narrator of the poem feels about herself, you can spot this word, and then you will know the person is talking about 佢自己咁樣啦。And then 呢個有少少唔同嘅顏色啦 ，cause is a bit different and 比較多唔同嘅嘢需要講。咁第二 part 就係 how the narrator of the poem feel about others。In this sense 咧，in contrast with 啱啱講嘅 I and my 嗰啲，咁你會見到我 highlight 咗好多都係 you、your， 係咪 ？you 同埋 your 係講緊 others 嘅。如果你見到其他字眼 like they is also talking about others， then you can see 即係 you。你可以睇一睇我 highlight 嘅每一個地方咧。You may write me down in history with your bitter twisted lines. You may throw me in the very dirt， 或者 You may shoot me with your word. You may cut me. You may kill me。呢一啲字眼你見到佢逢親用個 you 字咧，都係講緊 other is going to attack her on the ground of race。所以佢 how the narrator of the poem feel about others， 即係佢覺得其他人對佢係好 hostile 嘅，係好唔 friendly 嘅。 Also, you may write me down in history. 咁乜嘢人先至可以 make history 咧？ Must be someone very powerful, right? 咁 at this sentence, you can also feel that the description of others 係佢覺得其他人其實係 powerful 嘅。It's not that they're weak, they are powerful. But at the same time, 即係好似我哋啱啱講翻，只不過我唔會低頭啫對你哋。So she does feel the other who trying to attack her on the ground of race is powerful people. They are strong. 咁你亦都見到啦，the narrator is quite concerned with the view， 即係其他人點樣睇佢嘅 ，right？ 即係例如，you may write me down in history with your bitter twisted line，right？ 即係佢好 care 人哋睇，咁先至會講你點樣形容我噶嘛。咁仲有另外一度啦，佢都有講到嘅。You may shoot me with your words。咁呢一句又係好明顯見到話佢好 care 人哋對佢嘅睇法啦。咁你會見到咧，由一開頭咧 ，You may throw me in the very dirt， 去到後邊 ，You may shoot me, cut me and kill me。佢係一層一層一層咁樣用 stronger and stronger the language。First you throw me, and then you just shoot me, and then you cut me, and then at the end you're trying to kill me。咁呢一啲 metaphor 咧，即係講how she feels about others。其實其他人就係好 physically abusive 嘅。OK， 咁佢用verbally， 佢話啲人點樣講佢啊，點樣會講佢個 race 啊，去評論佢哋呢一個 race 嘅人種係點樣啊 ，to associate with the physical attack。咁其實即係話好多人係 verbally abusive to her，but the harm that she feel from the others 係as painful as physically being abused by the others。係啦，咁你會見到咧，即係佢好 big 嘅 contrast to 佢自己 how she feels about herself very confident very strong。佢覺得其他 others 係 unhappy 嚟嘅。點解咧？你會見到佢用啲字啦 ，like with your bitter right and then did it offend you did it upset you and you're very twisted。咁呢啲字眼就係覺得你會見到佢形容其他人嘅字眼嘅時候咧，佢都係用啲唔好嘅字嘅，即係 negative emotion 嘅字嘅。You're so bitter. Why are you upset? Why are you so twisted? That's how the narrator feel about the others。咁呢啲係即係會比較容易 spot 到啦，因為好多時 poem 都係好多形容詞。係啦，咁你會見到個 narrator also feel that the other people 係對佢唔好啦，咁所以佢要 challenge 佢哋啦。咁係邊一啲位見到佢 challenge 佢哋咧？即係每一就係呢一部分啦。Did you want to see me broken? Does my haughtiness offend you? Does it upset you? 即係呢啲係 challenge 緊你，我就係咁好噶啦，咁我係咪令到你唔開心啊？咁樣，咁我 challenge 緊你，咁如果我令到你唔開心，咁又點啫？你可以奈我何咩？咁樣。That's the kind of language that the narrator used to demonstrate her feeling, how she feels about the others. So, and I will move on the last part, like the use of language and structure. 咁你會見到咧呢一個問題咧係30分。A lot of your answer will be focusing on the first two parts because it will be a lot easier for you to spot them. But in terms of language and structure, the way that you can talk about 係即係 the use of 你喺 English literature 都會用嘅，可能 the use of rhythm 啦。Like lines rise, right? Lines rise. And then gloom and room. Eyes and cries. 即係呢啲就係個 the rhythm 啦。咁通常用呢啲 rhythm 就係 reflecting the feelings of the narrator。 咁你要be mindful about when you're answering the use of language and structure。你會講佢用咗呢度嘅 focus 係 more like skill set， 佢用咗啲咩 skill， 佢用咗咩 rhythm， 佢用咗咩 description， 佢有啲咩reference 啊，用咗啲咩 nouns 啊，有啲咩 method 啊，即係你要用翻好似我哋啱啱 paper one 嘅嗰一啲字眼出嚟去講嘅。咁但係用嗰啲字眼出嚟去講嘅時候咧，你要講翻佢點解要用呢一啲 technique 咯。即係佢究竟係 reflecting the feelings 啦，定係佢係想 show the behavior of attitude of the others， or is it demonstrating she has a very strong personal qualities and the others is even though they are strong they cannot defeat her, or is she being ironic， 佢係咪 mocking the others？即係例如咩叫 mocking 咧？即係佢係咪challenge 緊嘅同時都係取笑緊人哋？你就算 powerful 又點啫？你都係打唔低我咁樣。特別係你會見到does my haughtiness offend you 咁樣呢一啲句子咧係好明顯見到嘅。咁呢啲就係所謂嘅language 同埋 structure。咁你 first 你講 the use of 可能 rhythm，the use of nouns。然之後後邊咧 follow by 佢用呢一個 technique 係想 demonstrate 啲乜嘢。For example, the use of rhythm in the poem shows a balance and control and try to reflect the feelings of the writer。或者 the use of noun describes strong personal qualities deliberately to mocking the others 咁樣 to mock the others 係啦。咁你見到佢有一啲 rhetorical question 啦，係咪？咁呢啲 rhetorical question 都係一啲 skill 嚟嘅。This is something that you can use when you're writing your answer. But most of the time, it would be easier to focus on the first two part. 咁第三 part 其實你當好似 paper one language and structure 12分題咁樣去做咯，咁就會比較 balance 啲啦。係啦，咁仲有last part 啦，就係paper two 嘅 imaginative writing 啦。咁 imaginative writing 咧，咁呢個都係抽翻係 paper two January 2019，即係我哋啱啱做嗰個 poem 嘅 question。咁呢個 part two question two， 咁你會見到write about a time when you or someone you know challenge an unfair situation. Okay, this is one of the question. The other two question I didn't put out. 咁 the other question 可能就會講我記得係write something about bitter twisted lines 咁樣 relevant with 呢個 theme 嘅嘢咁樣。你會見到佢 part two 咧，即係 question two 嘅嘢咧 ，imaginative writing 咧係 highly associated with part one 佢所講嘅嘢，所以你明白 part one 發生咩事係好緊要嘅，咁你先至可以即係明白佢 part two 問緊嘅嘢係乜嘢。However, after understanding the question，咁 imaginative writing 其實佢最中意睇乜嘢咧？其實佢係睇你嘅 use of language。咁點樣可以喺你嘅 writing 裏邊 demonstrate 你嘅 use of language 咧？例如你會用好多唔同嘅vocabularies 啦。我講緊用好多嘅 vocabularies 係你識得用唔同嘅 vocabularies 去 describe 一樣嘅嘢。For example，when you're trying to describe something is increasing， 咁你可能你唔止淨係識得用 increase， 你可能識得用 accelerating 或者 escalating， 即係呢一啲字眼就係 demonstration of 你一個好 wide range 嘅 vocabulary basis。咁呢個係其中一個啦。第二就係the use of different tenses。For example，究竟你用 past tense 啊，past continuous tense 啊 ，but at the same time 你知道係咩情況之下，你可以用翻 present continuous tense 啊，perfect tense 啊，即係呢啲唔同嘅 tenses， 而你又冇用錯嘅話 ，the variety of tenses would immediately bring your mark a lot higher。咁of course 你 imaginative writing，即係你都要有你自己嘅 content。咁呢一啲 question 係 help you to think about what do you write in your content。咁 purpose 就係正常就係 write。Okay, if we look back to the question, what is the purpose of answering this question？ 咁個 purpose is to write。你可以 describe 一個 real experience where you challenge an unfair situation or imagine peace about a time when a person 或者你 someone that you know challenge an unfair situation。咁你可以用 description 嘅方式啦，你可能用 narrative 嘅方式啦，你用 speech 嘅方式啦，即係就咁呢啲嘅咩意思咧？咁究竟即係 speech 嘅方式，你可能係you're writing a speech， 你嘅 audience 可能係一大群眾，你準備上台講嘢嗰一種 style， 或者你係用一個 description 嘅 style 去形容發生過嘅一個 experience，kind of like paper 1 task 1 task 2咁樣。係啦，咁呢啲都係佢 consider 嘅 techniques 嚟嘅。咁 audience 係你 design 啦，咁你可以 choose between 我嘅 audience 係 adult 啊，定係 young people 啊，定係邊度嘅人啊咁樣。咁 this would let the examiner know 你究竟你用嗰啲 language， 你用嘅 structure 係咪對準呢一啲 audience 而去用嘅？咁佢會見到你嘅心思咯。Okay。係啦，咁對 form 啦，咁 form 可以係即係你係自己一個人講嘢 monologue 啊，定係你整咗兩個人出嚟？呢一個成篇文章係兩個人嘅對話，但係你無論點都好咧，一定要有一個好 clear、好 coherent 嘅 structure organisation。咁咩叫 coherent 啊？organize 咧就係首先你一定要有個 introduction 啦，咁你會有一個 development of your points and you must have a conclusion。Okay。Conclusion is more important than you think because without a conclusion is a demonstration of your firstly poor time management. Secondly，冇咗個 conclusion 咧，咁你成篇文章唔完整啦。你會見點解 ？For example paper 1 2嘅時候，我有 mention 過好多時 writer 喺最後邊係最重要嘅，因為佢係想你諗。究竟佢想成篇文章之前係表達啲乜嘢啊？或者佢會將佢最 strong 嘅 emotion 放喺佢最後邊嗰度啊？咁所以你嘅 conclusion 同樣地都係好緊要啊！你一定冇時間都好啦，你都一定要寫到個 conclusion 出嚟咯。即係你寧願你前面嘅 point 可能 develop 得冇咁 deep，但係你嘅 conclusion 都一定要寫出嚟嘅。Again， 咁可能其他嘅 technique 係嚟用 metaphor 啊。即係我哋之前講嘅嘢啊 ，alliteration 啊，你嘅 pronounce 啊，呢一啲 skill 同埋 technique 咧，都係一個 demonstration of 你知道你唔單止可以喺你前邊嘅 paper identify 到呢啲 skill， 你亦都識得點樣用喺你嘅 writing 嗰度咯。係啦，咁 that would be the end of the presentation, the workshop. I understand you might have some question, which I will be happy to answer now. Let me stop sharing the screen
Hello,
first.
Kerry， 唔該晒 ，thank you。我諗暫時呢個時間我哋會hold 住先。Q&A 呢個 session 我哋會擺到最後嘅。咁同學們都 stay on， 因為我哋都有一啲 update 或者有一啲 summarize 嘅嘢同大家去分享翻咁樣啦。咁咧我 share 翻我嘅 screen 出嚟先。好，大家都睇到我嘅 screen 嘛？係。咁again 頭先我哋喺呢度完結啦，我哋喺度開始翻啦。咁但係其實頭先我哋都有 come across 過，就係其實點解要揀 Pearson Edexcel International GCSE 英文呢一科？咁我相信英文其實都係一科好重要嘅一個科目 ，especially for International GCSE 呢個 level。咁我哋都有一啲 information 想同大家 share 翻。其實 Pearson Edexcel 嘅英文呢一個 qualification 有啲乜嘢咁特別咧？咁我哋有幾個 point 同大家 share 嘅。咁第一，我諗 compare with 其他嘅 examination board， 我哋嘅qualification， 我哋嘅 curriculum 係好 up to date 啦嚇，因為我哋都係喺2017年嘅時候，我哋都 update 到我哋嗰個 curriculum 啦，咁同埋好 relevant 啦。 我哋有個好 straightforward 嘅 marking scheme，so that 其實同學好清楚佢哋點樣可以喺邊度攞到一啲分數啦。咁呢個都好重要嘅。咁第三就係我哋都有一啲 accessible 嘅 exam papers 係 online，although佢哋唔係話一啲非常之 update， 但係 at least 都會俾到好多 structure 同埋一啲 logical progression， 就係究竟佢哋點樣知道其實應該個 layout 係點啊，成個 paper 係點樣 design 咁樣咯。最後咧就係我哋其實係有好多 diversify 嘅一啲 test type from 一啲唔同嘅 authors。咁其實呢個我哋喺我哋 English literature 嘅 qualification 裏邊咧，其實都希望可以幫到同學佢哋 develop 一啲相關嘅 skills 嘅。咁所以如果佢哋揀我哋 Pearson Edexcel 嘅international GCSE 或者甚至 international A level， 咁其實呢幾個 key points 都會 cover 喺裡面咯。咁當然啦，我哋都會好支援大家去更加了解呢一個 qualifications 啦。咁大家你會見到就係我都 share 咗條 link 喺呢度啦。咁一陣間我會擺喺個 chat box 度嘅，你哋可以慢慢去 copy 翻嚟睇。咁呢個就係我哋嘅 International GCSE 英文嘅 subject advisor 啦 ，Miss Claire 嘅 Haviland。咁你可以睇翻呢個 video。咁呢個 video 咧，佢會講得好清楚關於呢一個 qualifications。咁你哋可以係咯，一個 YouTube video 嚟嘅，咁變咗你哋可以仔細咁去睇啦。咁當然我哋喺我哋嘅官方網站裏邊，亦都有好多支援俾我哋嘅同學啦。嚇，例如 specification 啦，呢個一定要熟讀啦。嚇，另外咧就係另外咧就係一啲 sample 嘅 assessment materials 啦。嚇。咁都喺我哋嘅 website 裏邊，一陣間我都會俾翻條 link 大家，或者你喺我哋嘅 qualification.pearson.com 裏邊都可以揾到嘅嚇。咁我就呢度我就唔再講啦。咁因為今日其實都係英文呢一科啦，咁我都想同大家分享翻，除咗 International GCSE 之外，其實會唔會有其他嘅 English assessment 可以幫到你哋可能 progress 上去大學咧？咁今日我哋都會花少少時間，希望同大家去分享有一個 English test 係可以有一個 pathway 幫你哋去，因為而家都有好多 inquiry， 譬如出國留學啦，甚至移民啦嚇。咁呢個資訊咧都好快同大家去分享一下嘅。咁呢個 test 個名就叫做 PTE Academic。嚇，咁可能你哋都有聽過 PTE Academic 其實係乜嘢嚟嘅咧 ？PTE Academic 咧其實係一個 computerized base 嘅一個 language test。咁我哋係 provide 一個 unbiased 同埋好 secure 嘅一個 test 啦，俾我哋嘅 candidate 去 test 佢嗰個 English skills 嘅。咁係 for university 啦、professional 同埋移民嘅一啲 applications 啦。嚇。呢個考試咧，其實都唔係一個新嘅考試嚟㗎啦，佢其實已經 launch 咗超過10年㗎啦。咁而喺世界各地，我哋喺超過70個國家都有呢一個考試可以提供考嘅。咁而大家都知道有其他嘅考試啦，例如 IELTS 啦。咁呢一個考試其實同其他有啲乜嘢分別咧？咁呢度都有個好仔細嘅一個分析俾大家睇。第一就係我哋提供一個便利性啦，俾我哋嘅一個 learners 啦，就係佢哋可以早至24小時前去 book 佢哋嘅考試。而我哋1年365日咧，喺世界各地咧都有我哋嘅考試嘅。咁如果講翻香港啦，咁香港平均一個禮拜咧都最少有2至3日嘅 session 嘅考試咧係 available 俾同學佢哋去報考啦。咁我哋係一個3個小時嘅一個 test 嚟嘅，就唔需要再額外一個時間去做嗰個 speaking test 㗎啦。3個小時就會 4 skills 都會 well cover 嘅。咁而我哋85%嘅人都會喺大概2日內會攞到佢嘅成績啦。咁其實我哋舊年咧都 measure 過，我哋嘅同學喺大概1.2日，即係日領啦，咁佢已經攞到個成績㗎啦。咁變咗亦都可以方便到同學喺一個好快捷、好方便嘅環境裏邊可以 take 到一個 test 咯。咁第二啦，就係我哋呢個 test 咧係一個好accurate 嘅 test 嚟嘅。點解咧？就係第一，我哋係用電腦啦，我哋用 computer 嘅 marking 啦，咁變咗我哋係有一個好 standard 嘅一個 AI 咁幫我哋去 measure 同學嘅 English skills 嘅。咁而同學咧，我哋亦都做過好多 test 咧，就係我哋呢個 skills compare to 其他嘅 test 咧，我哋嗰個誤差率咧係最低嘅。嚇，咁當然我哋有啲 research 去 support 呢件事啦。咁我哋亦都喺網上面有呢啲資訊可以分享嘅。 咁第三就係我哋嘅內容咧，其實真係俾同學佢哋嘅升學啦，或者將來佢哋真係要應用喺工作啦，甚至係移民上面咧都係有關嘅。我哋會用好多 academic 嘅一啲 content 啦 ，integrated 嘅 task 啦，去 test 我哋嘅同學。咁而呢個 integrated 嘅 task 咧，係可以同一個時間咧去 test 佢哋 more than 一個 language skills 嘅，即係可能我哋一個題目裏邊佢係考緊，唔係淨係 reading 嘅，可能 reading 同埋 speaking 或者 listening and writing 咁樣嘅嚇。咁變咗呢個亦都可以培養到同學佢哋嗰個運用英文上邊，唔係話淨係運用某一個 skills 咯。我哋呢個考試咧係採取一個非常之我哋叫 high stake test， 就係一個好高規格嘅一個考試。我哋有 multi layers 嘅一啲 security measures 嘅，咁同學咧亦都會係需要咧就係經過我哋嘅一啲譬如palm vein scanning 啊，或者係digital signature 啊、影相啊，咁然後當然要睇 passport 啊咁樣啦，先可以入去考試啦。咁呢個亦都係我哋一個高規格，同埋我哋係會有一啲 camera 嘅 invigilation 啊、人嘅 invigilation 啊，去保證嘅考試咧係正確無誤，亦都冇乜機會可以有一個 cheating 嘅機會咁樣嘅。好。咁頭先講過啦，我哋嗰個考試嗰個 delivery 啦、registration 啦，同埋個成績咧，亦都係可以好快啦。我哋講緊由 booking 去到攞成績，可能講緊都係5日到嘅時間啦，嚇。咁我哋舊年真係有1.2日就已經攞到個成績㗎啦。咁只要你哋喺網上邊 create 你哋自己嗰個 account 啦，咁然後咧就可以去 schedule 你哋嘅 test，咁其實都可以即係好快咯。好啦，呢個咧就係我哋嘅分數同其他分數嘅一個對照表啦。我哋嘅分數係由10分去到90分嘅。instead of IELTS 可能係由4分或者4.5分去到9分咁樣啦。我哋會 more precise，俾一啲嘅好 precise 嘅分數俾我哋嘅同學嘅。而我哋嘅分數咧，亦都係同 CFR 啦 Common European Reference、Framework Reference 去 map 咗嘅。咁我哋好仔細啦，都知道晒嗰個英文嗰個程度嗰個級別啦。咁呢個亦都係可以俾到同學更加清楚佢哋自己英文嘅程度喺國際上面嘅水準，其實佢哋係站喺邊一個位咁樣咯。好，咁objective 啦，咁其實 assessment 我哋成日都講，我哋係 assessment 係希望 assess 佢好 purely 佢嘅英文嘅 skills， 就唔係其他嘅元素嘅。咁所以我哋採取咗一個 machine scoring 嘅一個考試啦，咁係好 objective 同埋好 consistent 嘅。第二就係話我哋去 assess 同學嘅英文嘅 skills 咧，係用好多唔同嘅方法去 test 佢哋啦。咁變咗我哋都可以好準確咁樣知道同學佢哋嗰個程度去到邊嘅。咁當然啦，我哋因為係一個 machine scoring 啦，一個 computerized test 啦，咁變咗無論佢嘅衣着，無論佢嘅外表係點啦，我哋都唔會影響到佢嘅 score， 因為我哋係用一個電腦嘅評核啦嘅方式啦。咁仲有咧就係我哋都知道其實世界上有好多地方有好多唔同嘅口音嘅，咁我哋亦都已經 preload 咗超過130個 accents 落去我哋個 system 裏邊，所以其實我哋都會 treat 到唔同地區嘅一啲 accents 係好公平咁樣去 treat 到嘅。好，咁頭先我哋都講過啦 ，security 啦，咁呢度咧就係大概我哋考試嗰個地方，可以俾個 idea 大家見到啦，嚇就好似一個位一個位咁樣啦，咁然後我哋有同事亦都會做一啲 manual 嘅 invigilation 啦，確保嗰個考試咧係正確無誤啦。我哋有好多唔同嘅 security measurements， 頭先有講過啦 ，palm vein scanning 啦，即係我哋要掃個掌紋啦，嚇我哋要去簽名啦、影相啦，同埋會有一啲 camera 嘅 invigilation 嘅。同學同同學之間佢哋坐嗰個位，就算喺隔離咧都冇得 cheating 嘅，因為我哋啲 questions 我啲 papers 係 randomized 咗嘅嚇。咁當然啦，全部都係由電腦去做評分咯，所以係完全唔會話有個人為嘅一個誤差喺裏邊嘅。咁仲有就係同學亦都可以將佢嘅成績用一個 digital 嘅方法 send 俾一啲大學。咁就係 through 我哋嗰個 website 啦，叫做 Score Report website 咁樣嘅。咁成個 成績嗰度咧就唔會有一張紙張嘅一個 certificate 啦，咁變咗呢樣嘢都係一個好嚴謹嘅一個security 一個 high stake test 咁樣咯。好，大家都好留意到，頭先我有提過，可能香港而家都有好多人好詢問，就係話我想去英國可能讀書或者甚至移民嘅。咁我想講 PTE Academic 呢個考試咧，除咗我哋喺世界各地亦都攞到好多認可咧，我哋喺今年嘅5月底嘅時候咧，亦都攞到英國政府佢哋嗰邊office 啦 home office 啦，就係 approve 咗。除咗 IELTS 之外咧，我哋呢個 test 亦都可以認可去申請唔同嘅 UK visa， 甚至係移民啦。咁唔同嘅 UK visa 可能係包括可能同學想過去讀 foundation level 嘅，咁呢一個 test 都承認㗎啦，亦都可以喺香港去考嘅。OK， 咁我哋有啲唔同嘅名嘅，咁頭先聽過就係 PTE Academic 啦，咁亦都有應該你哋可能有聽過有個叫 PTE Academic UKVI 或者 IELTS 嘅 UKVI 嘅，咁呢個咧就係佢嘅內容考核嘅內容咧就冇大嘅分別，不過咧啲人就會問究竟我應該考乜嘢試？咁就要睇下其實佢哋係 study 啲乜嘢嘅 level 啦。咁呢個表你就會見到，我 study degree level above 嘅，咁 yes 我就應該點 ，no 我就應該點。咁我哋係點樣去分嗰啲等級嘅？咁呢個亦都可以好清楚話俾大家聽。通常同學如果過去讀 foundation level 咧，就會考 UKVI 呢一個試嘅嚇，咁而 Pearson 呢一個試就係 computerized 啦，咁變咗亦都方便咗大家可以去考核嘅。好，咁講咁耐，其實個 test 究竟係邊個地方會承認啊，或者邊啲大學會承認啊？咁呢度都有啲資訊同大家分享啦嚇。咁第一你會見到我哋喺美國、加拿大、英國、歐洲、紐西蘭、澳洲、馬來西亞、新加坡，其實我哋已經係覆蓋咗嗰啲recognition 認可㗎啦。咁你會見到 UK 咧，其實我哋係98% 啦嘅大學已經承認咗啦。咁當然 UK 亦都可以申請移民啦，同埋讀書啦，甚至做嘢嘅嚇。咁而喺Sweden 啊、Finland 或者 Ireland 咧，我哋攞到100% 嘅。所以如果你去過嗰邊讀書咧，其實就完全冇問題㗎啦，考呢個試。咁當然仲有其他歐洲嘅國家啦，我哋一路都喺度同一啲大學去 work with 緊嘅。咁美國啦、加拿大啦，其實我哋個覆蓋率都好大。譬如講美國啦，我哋都會包括一啲好出名嘅大學啦，譬如 Harvard Business School 啊、Yale 啊咁樣咯。咁另外就係澳洲紐西蘭啦，呢個都要講一講，就係其實100%無論你係讀任何嘅大學，佢哋都承認 PTE Academic 呢個考試。咁包括呢個澳洲紐西蘭啦，澳洲紐西蘭啦，咁佢亦都可以用呢個考試去移民嘅，或者做嘢嘅嚇。咁所以我哋嘅考試嗰個程度已經係達到一個英語 English speaking countries 咧，佢嗰個大部分嘅認可㗎啦。咁而喺亞洲區咧 ，Malaysia 同埋新加坡咧，我哋都會已經有啲大學已經承認咗，咁我哋都喺度努力緊，而亦都會喺亞洲地區裏邊咧去發展我哋嗰個recognition 嘅。嗱，咁呢個咧亦都係一啲好世界各地好著名嘅大學已經係承認咗我哋啦。咁我唔逐間去講個名啦。咁大家望一望，你都見到其實都係一啲好出名嘅大學。咁佢都已經承認咗，而喺我哋嘅 website 嗰度咧，亦都會見到可以喺個 website 度去 check 到究竟邊間大學係承認同埋承認幾多分啦。咁呢個都好重要嘅。好，咁講咗咁耐，咁嗰啲分數同埋嗰啲成績係點樣發放嘅咧？呢個就係個成績單啦。咁頭先講過啦，我哋係同 CEFR 係啦，就已經配咗個 level 啦。第二咧，我哋亦都係同 TOEFL 同埋 IELTS 咧，嗰個程度已經係配咗㗎啦，個分數。仲有就係我哋係根據Global Scale of English 一個國際嘅一個英語嘅一個 measure 嘅 standard 去釐定啦。咁你會見到右上角有一個分數啦，嗰個就係 overall score， 即係個總分。咁而下低就係聽說讀寫個4個分。PTE Academic 除咗呢2個種類嘅分數會提供俾同學之外咧，我哋下低咧仲有個叫做 skills breakdown， 我哋 total 有6個 enabling skills 嘅一個分數。enabling skills 嘅分數就係 grammar、oral、pronunciation、spelling、vocabulary 同埋 written disclose。呢個可以更加俾一個好詳細嘅分析，同學知道其實佢哋英語嘅能力究竟去到邊一個位。嗱，譬如好似我就咁立一立呢個同學啊，佢攞80分，咁其實都相當之高啦。咁但係咧，我哋望一望，咦，原來佢喺 spelling 嗰度咧，佢係只係攞到44分。咁所以咧，亦都間接影響咗佢嗰個 writing 嘅嚇。咁所以呢個咧就會好清楚，可以俾到同學或者嗰個考生知道，其實佢自己嗰個強弱項喺邊度。咁啊，令到佢如果係真係再去考嘅時候，佢都可以掌握到佢一個弱嘅地方去做翻好，改善翻，然後先去考試啦。嚇，咁而頭先都提過啦，我哋嘅同學嘅成績係可以經過一個 website 去 send 俾任何世界上面嘅大學，係無限次嘅。我哋冇一個 limited 嘅次數嘅。如果 IELTS 嘅話咧，我知道佢哋唔知係3至5次之後咧，佢哋就要額外收費噶啦。但係我哋呢個考試係冇呢一個收費嘅。咁啊，相當之方便啦，俾同學可以去考多啲一啲佢自己心儀嘅大學啦。呢個就係一個簡單嘅一覽表，就係我哋同其他考試嘅一啲比較。咁頭先都已經講過，我就唔特別去講啦。咁而我哋個分數咧嘅有效期咧，同其他嘅考試一樣，都係2年嘅。咁我哋點樣去準備咧？咁其實都簡單嘅，我哋有一個好清楚嘅一個 pathway 俾大家去準備個考試嘅。咁啊，第一就係首先去睇我哋一個 step by step 嘅一個 video guide 啦。咁咧就會有好多問題咧係關於呢個考試嘅。咁你哋at least要知道其實成個 test structure 係點樣樣啦。第二咧就係我哋會有一個叫做 Introduction to PT Academic 嘅一個 course。係 online 嘅，咁啊當然啦，有一啲 free lessons 嘅，咁如果想做一啲比較詳盡啲嘅 online course 咧，可以自己做 online 去 subscribe 啦。第三咧就係我哋提供咗一個叫做 online score practice test。咁呢個 test 咧，其實咧就係可以幫同學呢個會唔會遮住咗？係啦，幫個同學咧就係喺一個屋企嘅環境或者喺個 learning centre 咧就可以去做一個 test。呢個 test 咧同佢真實嘅考試一樣，都係大概3個鐘，而佢咧出嚟嘅成績咧，亦都會好似頭先睇到嗰張成績單，只不過係冇一張相啫。咁變咗佢可以考一個 mock test before 佢真係去考嘅真試，令到同學可以知道自己其實嗰個 weaknesses 喺邊啦。咁亦都可以做好一個 preparation 嘅嚇。咁而佢嘅成績亦都喺考完之後20至30分鐘內就已經攞到㗎啦。所以其實係一個好快同埋好便利嘅一個方法，係俾同學知道佢自己嘅程度去到邊度啦。咁大家都好想知道，其實因為我哋個考試都 launch 咗超過10年啦，咁所以咧，其實個市場上面都有一啲唔同嘅一啲 feedback，對我哋呢個考試有啲唔同嘅 feedback 嘅。咁我哋做咗好多 survey 啦，咁我哋就 find out 到，其實第一個大家最受歡迎嘅咧，就係佢覺得個成績好快攞到，係可以幫到同學嘅。呢個其實大家我諗都認同㗎啦，因為可能大家都會好忙啦，唔會話花好多時間啦。咁但係如果嗰個時間係好快攞到成績咧，所有嘢都會順利好多嘅。咁當然第二就係 unbiased 嘅 result 啦，因為係電腦評分啦。咁對住部電腦，大家都好自若㗎啦，好自然㗎啦。但係如果對住個考官嘅話，可能有時都會緊張啦，少不免。咁所以呢個其實都係因為我哋呢個考試係用 AI 去做一個評分，咁變咗其實大家都會有個信心咯。好，咁我上翻去頭先嗰度先。好嗱，咁去總結呢個考試啦。咁其實係一個fair, fast, accurate, convenient 嘅一個英文考試嚟嘅。咁我哋喺呢個 website 裏邊Pearson PTE.com 呢個裏邊咧你可以去 take 一個 mock test 啦，然後咧你就可以即刻攞到你自己嗰個英文個分數，大概30分鐘已經可以攞到㗎啦。我可以 copy 個 link 俾大家，陣間就咁 click 落去就唔使周圍去揾啦。咁所以咧，同學你哋絕對有其他嘅一個選擇嘅。我想講就係 IELTS 唔係唯一嘅出路啦。咁所以大家都可以留意呢一樣嘢，去幫到你哋嘅。咁好啦，當然跟住落嚟都好希望大家可以同我哋分享翻你哋對今日呢一個 workshop 嘅一啲意見啦。 我都知道填 feedback form 咧，去 encourage 你哋咧，都唔係好容易㗎啦。不過嗱，譬如 Kerry 頭先我哋都講咗一個 section 咁樣啦。咁你哋如果對呢個 workshop 裏邊有啲乜嘢嘅 comment，我哋都好歡迎你真係話俾我哋知，因為呢啲咁樣嘅 comment 係幫我哋去 formulate 我哋嚟緊更加多嘅一啲 support 或者唔同類型嘅一啲 workshop。當然你話啊 Kerry 講得好好喎，咁你可以喺嗰度俾一個好嘅 ranking 佢啦，即係一個 rating 佢啦。咁我覺得呢個都係一個渠道話俾我聽，對呢個 workshop 你哋有啲乜嘢嘅 feedback 嘅嚇。咁大家審 scan 呢個 QR code，咁其實條問題都好唔係好多條㗎咋啊，好多都係 multiple choice 嚟嘅。咁大家都幫手去填一填俾我哋啦。好，咁再落嚟就係我相信同學可能都喺啲唔同嘅。我哋有呢啲 online workshop 嘅，咁如果你仲未去 follow 我哋嘅 Facebook 或者 Instagram 咧，我哋好想你哋而家咧就去做呢件事啦。因為除咗知道呢啲 online workshop 之外咧，其實如果我哋有啲咩考試嘅一啲可能突發嘅一啲資訊咧，我哋都會喺我哋呢啲官方嘅一啲 social media 上面咧會公布嘅。咁如果你哋 follow 咗，你哋亦都會收到通知咯。咁所以 Facebook 同埋 Instagram 都麻煩你哋可以去 follow 啦，或者 like 咁樣啦，咁你哋就會可以 keep 住收到我哋嘅資訊。咁啊呢個亦都好有用啦，因為你哋如果想聽呢個 workshop，你哋一定係對呢個考試希望有一啲即係最 update 嘅一啲資訊啊咁樣樣嘅，去幫到你哋嘅嚇。咁大家可以 scan 咗呢個 QR code 去 follow 我哋咯喎。好，咁當然最後啦，我都好多謝大家嘅參與啦。而家咧，我亦都想 open 個 floor 咧，就係俾大家同學可以去發問一啲問題啦。因為都講咗好耐啦嘛，都希望大家有個機會去發問問題嘅。咁啊，同學可以而家 unmute 咗你嗰個咪去發問問題，或者喺嗰個 chat box 嗰度去打你哋嗰個問題。咁頭先咧，我就見到其中有一個同學咧，佢就 cap 咗一個 screen 擺咗喺佢 chat box 度嘅。咁啊，睇下你哋有冇啲其他問題想問翻 Kerry 啦，因為好好啦個機會可以問翻佢啦。咁你哋唔好客氣咯喎嚇，你個導師就坐喺度咯喎，咁可以去問問題喎。同學有冇其他嘅問題或者 comment 都可以嘅，唔使怕醜喎，可以盡量問喎。咁如果大家同學都冇即刻即時嘅問題咧，咁你哋唔好離開個 meeting 住，我會 share 翻啲 links 出嚟嘅嚇。咁不過咧，我就想話你哋如果之後你哋都係有問題嘅話，其實你哋可以 contact 翻 Oxbridge Education Group，佢哋去做一啲 further 嘅一啲assistant 啊或者 inquiry 嘅，咁佢哋都會係可以再可能個別地去協助你哋啦，或者係或者我需要一啲學習嘅上邊嘅一啲輔助啊，咁佢哋都可以提供一啲輔助俾你哋，咁所以你哋可以聯絡佢哋啦。咁如果大家都真係冇問題，因為我都見大家好安靜啦。如果真係大家都冇問題咧，咁你哋可以留低我 share 翻啲 link。咁就好，再一次好多謝大家嘅參與啦。好多謝大家先，都唔該晒 Kerry， 再一次唔該晒 Kerry 嚟幫我哋去分享咗今日嘅 session。唔該晒
，Thank you。
而家分享呢個咧就係嗰個subject advisor 嗰個 video 啦。跟住咧，呢個就係個 specification 同埋嗰個 sample materials 嗰條 link 啦，大家都可以去攞翻嚟睇嘅。可以把握住好嗰個機會去問問題喎，或者問呢啲 comment 咁樣咯。好，呢個係 sample material。
好似有人舉手，你係咪有問題啊？所以舉手。
先，OK， 黎正係啦，
風
阿峰同學係咪？哦，佢縮翻隻手啦，可能咁
OK
係咪有問題？你可以
好嘅
unmute 咗個 mic 咧，然後可以直情講噶喎。係啦，請講啊！你可以直接講
或
呢個，
者如果你唔想講，你可以你打字
係啦，
都
你可以打
係啊，
都得嘅。
係啊，
定還是係撳錯咗？
Hello，聽到？
誒，而家聽到，係
聽到
請問啦，請講
係
啦。
唔好意思，因為頭先個咪有啲問題，我想請
緊要
問咧，其實 overall 咧，Miss 你覺得 DSE 個英文同埋呢個有咩最大嘅分別喺邊度啊？咁同學掌握嘅難度係邊個會難啲咧？
basically 其實如果係 DSE 咧，我覺得用處一定係 IGCSE English Language 係大啲嘅，因為點解咧？DSE 佢始終都叫做比較新嘅一個 syllabus 嚟嘅，對於外國嘅大學嚟講。Whereas
Okay.
你都知 Pearson、Edexcel 其實係全世界 recognise 嘅，咁本身佢而家係一個新嘅 IGCSE English Language A，但係佢已經有個 base，佢之前有發生過即係可能 IGCSE English Language 啊，或者 GCSE English Language 啊，咁所以其實大學已經有大概個 perception 究竟你嘅 standard 係去到邊度咯。咁同埋如果係 DSE 即係 let's say 你攞5或者5星星或者5星咁樣，其實對於佢哋嚟講，佢哋唔係太清楚個 difference 係喺邊度㗎，係啊，即係佢冇個咁深刻嘅 concept instead of Pearson Edexcel 嗰個 IGCSE 嘅 English language，同埋 International GCSE English language 咧，佢係 design for 即係大家喺全世界唔同嘅學生㗎嘛，咁就 instead 咁係咩意思咧？咁個意思就算你中學可能未必喺英國嗰度讀，但係你 take 呢一個 exam，咁你呢個 exam 嘅訓練都可以得到你唔喺英國嘅學校以外嘅地方去嘅認可咯，嚇。
係。咁但係 in terms of 真係去學一個 language 嚟講，其實邊一個考試真係會好啲咧？
我會覺得其實係 Pearson Edexcel 嘅，點解咧？因為始終嗱，如果你係諗住即係特別之後係去美國或者去英國或者澳洲、加拿大嘅去報大學咁樣嘅話咧，你會發現咧，如果你有你嘅 DSE 嘅英文咧，其實佢係好多時係操你 writing，即係你寫嘢點樣。但係 in terms of 有啲咩 technique，即係例如我啱啱講 alliteration，即係你use of rhythm，你嘅 poem 啊，同埋你甚至有埋 English literature 咁樣，你去睇一啲novel 啊，或者一啲詩啊、詞句啊，佢用嗰啲 skill 咧，其實 DSE 係唔會講到嘅，即係好多時可能教你乜嘢 tenses，用啲咩 grammar，有啲跟住可能會有默書背 vocabularies，但係in terms of 即係好似啱啱我講嘅嗰啲英文裏邊嘅嗰啲 skill 咧，其實佢係冇包含到。咁所以如果你係想話自己嘅小朋友佢喺英文方面係真正了解英文呢一個 subject English language 呢個 subject 嘅話，咁當然係 IGCSE 會好好多咁樣嘅。
OK，咁即係換句話說，如果係個學生 take 緊一個 DSE 英文嘅課程，佢都要另外先至可以即係 well prepare 到呢個IGCSE 嗰個考試咯，即係兩套唔同嘅嘢咯，係咪咁講？
呢個或者我可以補充下 Kerry 好嘛？
好。
嗱，其實咧 International GCSE 咧係喺香港咧，大部分嘅學校咧，佢哋可能係 Form 3或者 Form 4嘅時候咧已經去考㗎啦。咁而 DSE 大家都知道要讀完 Form 6先至去考啦。咁所以咧，其實 International GCSE 咧就希望喺佢哋 Form 3或者 Form 4嘅時候，我諗好多學校或者好多同學都係 Form 3嗰時會考啦，就係因為係幫佢哋去揀科啊。因為你知 Form 3之後要揀科啊嘛，咁所以咧佢哋就考完呢個 我哋叫做 IGCSE 咧，可以比較清楚啲去知道個同學佢本身嗰個喜歡或者佢嘅點講咧長處喺邊， 咁所以咧就可以方便到佢哋去選科。咁第二咧就係 International GCSE 咧，我都想補充多一個 content 啦，就係其實我哋喺2017年嗰時去 revamp 我哋呢一個 curriculum 咧，我哋跟住英國嗰個 national curriculum 嗰個 reform 去做嘅。呢個 reform 咧，除咗個 knowledge base 之外咧，因為當然啦，我哋都唔係即係啱啱2017年先至做，我哋已經 run 咗都好耐啦。呢個考試世界各地，我哋已經講緊係超過100年㗎啦。呢個考試。咁所以其實我哋嘅根基係好穩固啦，加上點解2017年我哋會去轉第一 UK 嗰個 curriculum 轉，第二就係我哋做咗好多 research，我哋發覺除咗 knowledge 之外咧，其實同學嘅一啲 soft skills 咧都係要去 develop 嘅，就唔係話佢哋淨係識得讀書考試，考完試就唔記得晒啦，或者唔識得用啦。咁而我哋呢個考試或者我哋 international A level 咧，我哋都擺咗個好重要嘅元素落去，就係我哋有一個叫做 transferable skills。呢個 transferable skills 咧，其實就係俾同學佢哋去學習呢個 curriculum 裏邊嘅時候咧，我哋已經喺一啲唔同嘅 session 裏邊咧，就加咗呢一啲 skills 嘅 development 嘅一啲元素落去，變咗佢學習嘅時候，佢都會學埋呢啲 skills。呢個 skills 咧，除咗係幫佢哋去考試之後咧，其實佢哋繼續升學上大學又好，或者甚至將來出嚟做嘢都好啦，佢都可以運用翻出嚟。我哋嘅考試好着重運用 application 嗰個部分嘅嚇，好多時我哋都會俾一啲問題佢哋要自己去 digest 咗嗰個 knowledge，然後用佢自己嘅方法或者佢自己嘅 solution 去答翻個問題出嚟，咁變咗呢個就係一個運用嘅一個學習啦。咁而呢個咧亦都係我哋所講嘅畢生受用咯。咁點解我哋會用 international 咧？rather than 用一個 UK 嘅一個本土嘅 curriculum 咧，就係我哋希望同學真係有個國際視野，喺世界各地佢哋可以學習到唔同嘅知識，但係佢哋自己識得去點講咧，消化個知識，然後用翻佢個方法去運用出嚟。咁呢個係真係好幫到佢哋第時讀書又好，做嘢又好，呢個都好重要咯。咁所以點解如果佢要讀 DSE，其實佢可以早啲佢去讀 International GCSE，佢考呢個試，知道下自己其實嗰個程度去邊。同你分享翻，其實有好多學校佢哋喺 Form 3嘅時候都已經係考譬如9科甚至9至到12科嘅 International GCSE，所以亦都令到個家長同埋個同學知道自己其實喺邊個範疇裏邊係會做得比較好嘅，因為香港而家都冇一個讀完 Form 3要升上去高中嘅一個考試，咁變咗同學咧就由小學一路讀到去考 DSE，咁樣咧就其實會令到佢哋真係一嚟就要考 DSE 咧都會幾驚㗎，因為中間咧佢哋冇任何公開試嘅經驗咧，呢個都會令到佢哋有機會係突然間去到 DSE 嗰度會失手咯。咁所以我哋都希望同學或者家長佢哋都可以俾一個機會佢哋去考一個國際試，俾佢哋自己知道佢哋嘅程度去到邊咯。
OK， 好，唔該你。
呢個問題。
好，得，唔該晒。
唔使。好，仲有冇其他同學想問其他嘅問題咧？我見到個 chat box 好似有個問題。OK，呢個就係個 survey 嗰條 link 啦，係啦。好。
同埋其實有少少補充就係，如果你因為好似阿 Connie 咁講咧，咁你IGCSE English 你係 Form 4、Form 5嘅時候考噶嘛，其實你個成績夠高嘅話咧，係可以避免咗你唔需要再去考 IELTS 嘅，係啊，因為有一啲英國嘅大學咧係覺得，如果你 GCSE English Language 即係 IGCSE English Language 呢個 grade 係夠嘅話，係 demonstrate 到你 English Language 係 strong 嘅話咧。咁一般就唔需要你 require 你可能再另外去考 IELTS 咁樣咯。
同埋我知道好似係英國好多或者香港都係啦，有一啲咧佢哋係考完個 International GCSE 咧，可能 Form 4、Form 5嘅時候去考完啦。咁其實跟住佢哋就會直接攞嗰個成績去做一個 base，然後去考外國，甚至係本地我哋香港嘅一啲大學去攞 conditional offer 嘅。咁啲大學咧，其實係會睇呢個成績嘅，因為你知啦，世界各地都有好多唔同嘅中學噶嘛。咁如果你哋淨係睇校內成績，都唔能夠作準咯。咁但係如果佢用呢一個國際考試咧，其實就可以睇到佢哋嘅程度。咁佢哋通常就會睇咗完佢哋 International GCSE 嘅成績之後咧，佢哋就可以俾一個 conditional offer，即係話 OK，如果你 A level 或者啦，香港有啲同學可能會考 DSE 啦，咁但係通常佢哋都會考 A level 嘅。咁 A level 你攞到啲乜嘢成績？因為 A level 只係需要考3科嘅啫嘛，最少，咁佢就可以OK，你3科你達到啲乜嘢成績，我就會 accept 你㗎啦。咁呢個都會有同學去用呢一個方法去攞一個 conditional offer。咁可能本地嘅大學就可以用 non-JUPAS 去做呢件事啦，而外國亦都可以係咁樣去申請，個別啲大學去申請嘅，咁變咗同學同埋家長亦都唔需要咁驚話我淨係可能可以考到1間或者幾多間大學，你可以考本地同埋外地嘅大學都可以，世界各地真係好多大學都承認我哋呢一個 qualification， 咁變咗有個便捷喺度咯。好，咁仲有冇其他同學有問題咧？咁如果真係冇問題咧，咁再一次多謝 Kerry 啦今日幫我哋 deliver 呢個呢個 session 啦。咁好多謝Oxbridge Education Group 嘅 Jennifer 係都幫我哋手 line up 呢一個 workshop 啦，好多謝佢啦。咁希望大家盡快去填翻啲資訊俾我哋，咁我哋盡快喺不久嘅將來啦，我哋去再做下一次嗰個 workshop， 令到大家可以更加幫到大家去 prepare 個考試嘅。咁第一祝大家成功。OK，咁唔該晒你，多謝大家，好，再見。
Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry.